I guess, sort of, with Sam and little girl, Samson, the bully lab. So welcome. If you're new here, this is kind of how we roll. I'm not an actress. I don't have a sponsor. I don't have an agent, and we're actually going to talk about that a little bit in this video, so I had to bring that up, especially now. Couple disclaimers. I am not an expert in any field. I am not giving or soliciting advice. This is part of my testimony. This was what I believe was put on my heart and what I was asked to do. So I've been doing this for several years now. And if you were with me on the original channel, Mari and Jen, then you are starting to see that some of the things that we were given years ago now starting to come to fruition more and more every day as time passes. I'm not saying this to puff myself up. There's a reason. I'm always blessed and pleased to see when a message goes forth and it starts to get a little traction when it needs that attention, because we were given the message a while back that it was the season of exposure. That was a word that God brought forth. And so we are seeing that happen, but remember, there are two sides to this. It's like a football game or a chess game. I prefer chess. It's a little more intellectual and intuitive. But we are seeing persecution on both sides of things. And so that's something that needs to be mentioned, is the deception. So it's important to have proper discernment. The disclaimers, the medical and legal disclaimers, are in the description box of the video. I want to also say that some of what you're about to hear is definitely speculation on my part. I am expressing and utilizing my free speech as a citizen, but also using the tongue that the Most High, the one who made me, created me, gave me to use and to speak the truth. Obviously, I'm not doing this for popularity or for money, and that's the last point I want to make, is that it's always pleasing to see the messages go forth and surreal at the same time, because some of these things can be frightening. But the whole point is that God always warns us before a thing so that we can avoid it. And prophecy isn't about accuracy. It's about repenting. Usually it's about changing, about being warned in time and changing your behavior to avoid possible, calamity. So anyways, these messages are not supposed to be monetized. That was the whole point of it. I did have a PayPal link up. Somebody asked me to put it up a while back, and for time spent in research, I was okay taking donations. I don't even think it reached 2,000 over like 4 years. But point being is I took that down because I don't want the waters to get money. These aren't supposed to be something that people profit off of. And I never agreed to that, and I never consented to that in any way, shape, or form. And if you're listening, you know who I'm talking to. So let's get on with it then. This is, I knew, and I've said this for a long time, when something trends, okay, when you see, and I don't know who's watching, I don't know how old you are, I don't know your background. So if you're offended, there's really no need to be. But I don't know what you know, right? So I'm just going to start talking about certain things here that we've been seeing for a while. Now, I did a video a while back talking about they're using this terminology of actors, right? Bad actors. When did they start saying that? It was like slipped into the verbiage, and they're telling us like what is going on. And really, they are really bad actors. Now, whether you want to think it's a Freemasonic, Albert Pike prophecy or prediction or plan coming to fruition, it's real easy to make prophecy happen when you know that it's supposed to happen. And this is an aspect that just occurred to me as well. Let's put good and evil, right? God and Satan, whatever archetypes you prefer to fit in there. And I can't be giving disclaimers throughout the whole video, so let's be adults and be respectful and not get insulted over words, and let's not make words out of salad arguments out of, nothing. Cultural differences in the way we speak, right? Okay, see, I lost track because I started doing that, so let's not do that again. So they started using this verbiage like bad actors, right? and they really are bad actors. But if you have a good side and a wicked side, and they say that the side of evil knows what the Bible says, okay. Well, if we also take into fact that prophecy can be changed. If you look at the story of Jonah, like, that was just one example of a society listening to a messenger, if you prefer that word, listening to a messenger and changing their behavior so they avoided destruction, calamity, whatever you want to say. And a lot of it can be logical, when you see, when you're able to think several moves ahead, like in chess, you don't have to be always in communion with God, though it's good to be. You don't always have to be in communion with God to use your human reasoning and to say, okay, this is where this is going. This is what it looks like this is, right? So that's what we talk about here, is trying to just defragment what we're being told and sold in the media. Now, when something trends, it's not trending organically. They will tell you that it's trending. And that's why, if you go to the trending section in YouTube, the first day or the first few minutes, something's up there, it has almost no views, and you're like, why is this trending? There's no views. They put it there because they want it to trend. They're telling you this is going to trend. You're going to watch it, so it will trend, right? Doesn't take a genius to make your own prophecy or your own plan come into effect. Now, going back to good and evil, I was wondering earlier, why would you sign on with evil? Why would you want all these negative, bad things to happen? And again, only if you are of some type of demonic, lower level frequency, sentient being, whatever you figure at the bottom, like spiritually speaking, plankton, right? So black goo basically is what physically that manifests as to me. So if you're talking about something that negative, well, it's simple. They're trying to make it happen because they want destruction to befall humanity and to befall the earth. That's what they want to happen. And it's really that simple. And for a long time, I've been like, why are they doing this? Why would they want to do this? But we can't understand the psychology all the time of such depravity. And so that's what I want you to think of as I go through this. Now, I also want to be respectful. I've obviously prayed for this person, this individual, if what we saw was real. But I want to also remind you of something else. When I was still using Facebook, I was literally traumatized. I didn't think they'd possibly leave up a live video of someone being shot in the head in his own car, but they did, and no part of it was censored. And this ran for hours on Facebook after being on Facebook Live. Again, you're being allowed to see those things for a reason. We're being traumatized as a society for a reason. And we're going to get into a supernatural aspect of that. Like, why are so many deaths filmed? We're going to talk about that in another video, possibly the next one. So hopefully I won't forget what I just said here at 12:02 if somebody wants to remind me, because that's a pretty supernatural aspect to what we're seeing on YouTube and what we're seeing with Netflix and in the news, for example. We are seeing these things start to occur. So anyway, where was I? All right. So I've obviously prayed for these people, all right, and these individuals. I want to make that very clear. I do not condone violence. I'm a pacifist. I do not own any guns. I will not own any guns. I will not live with guns. I do not consent to it. What you decide to do is up to you, right? If you want to take advantage of your Second Amendment, is it the Second Amendment? You're entitled to do that. And I'm not going to say especially for men to protect their family. Me personally, with my living situation and the heart that I have, I just can't do that. And that's just me. I'm not judging you. I'm laying all this out for a specific reason. And again, I'm not a doctor. No part of this is medical advice nor legal advice, okay? But I did see several real things take place on Facebook that were never blurred. They were never censored. And I want to say also, we have a lot of actors that sprung up with the thing that happened down in Vegas. If you remember, David Hogue looks a whole lot like Ben Shapiro from Livewire. Remember that sometimes these people also play multiple roles. If it is on the screen, it is because they want you to see it. The persecution of the saints that is happening now is not going to be televised. What they are showing you is all an act. They want you to think persecution looks one way. They want you to think war looks one way, when in actuality it is something entirely different altogether. So where am I going with all this? First, you have to know what this word means. Nestorianism. It's a term used in Christian theology and church history to refer to several mutually related but doctrinally distinct sets of teachings. The first meaning of the term is related to the original teachings of Christian theologian Nestorius, who promoted specific doctrines in the fields of Christology and Mariology. Now again, you got to be patient. Let's have attention spans. Let's all be adults here, because I've not watched any of those videos. That's the last thing I wanted to say. I've not watched any of the videos about this person. I saw he started being suggested to me on YouTube just over the last month. I saw some of the inflammatory things that he would say. I wouldn't even click on him. He gave me a bad feeling in my spirit, just his overall look. And I don't mean to be discriminatory or stereotypical when I say that. When I say my spirit gets a bad feeling, like it almost like for women, like you get a stomach ache, right? When you're around a certain type of person, or you see a person, like sometimes their aura just makes you ill. And again, you can call that New Age talk, but I'm not going to play word police with anybody. Like, I'm just not going to do that. The goal is to reach out to a wide variety of people, because we're not supposed to be gatekeepers to Christ. No matter who you are, you should be able to worship in your chosen way. As long as you're not, like, again, sacrificing other live beings. We should, that should be a freedom we all have. But everything that you're seeing on TV, that is not real. That is not the real persecution. The persecution of the saints is happening now to people like me, to people like you in the healthcare industry, with certain toxins that were demanded be put in certain people's temples. That is also another reference to the abomination of desolation. But that's, again, another video. Okay, so I didn't see any of these videos. I didn't watch them. And I want to tell you something very clear here. When you're watching someone on a screen, you don't know what is outside a frame. What do I mean? All you're seeing is a little portion. You don't know what their whole house looks like. You don't even know what that whole room looks like. You just know what that one wall looks like. Now, when they say breaking down the fourth wall, they mean when somebody looks directly at the camera and is speaking to the camera and acting as if there is no wall there, like when you're watching a movie and you're immersed in the movie and you're just supposed to be an observer and you're supposed to envision they're in a whole house. There's a whole nother supernatural thing to that as well that I was tipped off to in the Slender Man things. And again, things are not what they appear to be. The news is not real. Yet movies now, when people are ended, it seems to be very real. And again, you're talking to somebody who's had a family in movies for a long, long time, and who did makeup and special effects and things of that nature. And I studied a lot. And yeah, anyways, you don't know that whole building, okay? I'm going to tell you my genuine feeling of this guy. And I don't really care who believes me or not. I'm going someplace with this, and there's a reason I'm going here. Now, I'll show you if they show any of this. Number one, the first thing to be suspicious of. They never show you a member of the flock ever. You never, ever see a member of the flock, all right? Number two, they censored the video. When this man went in there and, quote-unquote, attacked this man, very tragic. I do not condone any such a thing. I am not for holy wars. And again, that's why I'm making this video, is because I think we should be spiritually evolved beyond barbarism at this point. And I know a lot of men especially are going to disagree with me. And a lot of men, especially in America, are in severe error. And our enemy knows this. They have got the men distracted on purpose because they are the muscle and they are the protectors. But women are supposed to be wisdom, and we are supposed to be bringing our men wisdom, and that's why I do this as part penance as well. So the first thing to be suspicious of is you never ever see anyone else, and even all these alleged Catholic churches that they say there are certain things going on in them. I can tell you, as somebody who's grown up in Catholic churches, they're not legit Catholic churches. Those are like liberal Protestant Catholic churches. They're not, if they're churches at all. Now, just because this person says that they're in a church does not mean they're in a church, number one. Number two, he's wearing a Roman Catholic bishop's robe. His headgear isn't even approved by Syriac Christians. Why is that important? I will get there. Again, you're looking at people who don't know what they are doing, and I mean this with all due respect because I'm trying to help a situation that's about to really fly out of control, I believe. And I think we all just need to stop, take a breath, and stop allowing ourselves to be manipulated. And if you can't help but be manipulated by what you see on the screen, then you need to stop watching. And I'm just being very honest here, and I'm speaking to myself. Two, the second thing that bothers me is false humility. I'm not even going to go any further with that. I'm just going to say that. Three, his hands are a lot younger looking. Your hands are one of the first things on a person to age. His hands look a lot younger than they should. I don't think the beard is legit. That's just my opinion. I don't think there's a lot of people on YouTube who have beards that I don't think they're real. When somebody won't show you their true face, there's something wrong. So again, he's wearing a Roman Catholic robe with headgear of an Syriac Christian. So right there, you've got like all kind of things that are wrong. I'm not even going to refer to his quote-unquote altar there. I'm just not going there. I'm just not going to. Stop believing that just because someone says they are something, stop assuming that that's true. People lie, especially now. And it's if somebody's insulted by you inquiring about their background, about their, if you have any type of relationship with a person and they get offended by you asking them questions and seeking more information, you should be suspicious. You should be concerned. When it became basically a crime to ask questions, that right there, I'm not even going to get into why all this is wrong. I'm just not going there, okay? I'm just not. Okay, what else is wrong with this? Well, we're going to get there. Just chill. He was suspended from his original church, okay? And I have not, again, I've prayed for him. I've not seen anyone else cover this. You got to look into somebody's background if you're going to be watching them and you're going to be listening to them. Yes, people can repent. All of these things can happen. It said he was born in 1970. Okay, again, what I found really weird, too, is him and Tate are having, like, this go-round thing, and his features resemble Tate's a lot. Like, he could be a brother, an uncle, I don't know, but he, in the face, his nose, his eyes, the shape of his cheeks, he really, really looks like the dude. And I only know that because somebody made a thumbnail and had them side by side because they were clapping back to each other or whatever you call it on social media. And yeah, he looks a lot like him. So, and again, I'm wondering if this is why they put away Julian Assange or took over WikiLeaks so they could just put in whatever information they wanted because they were starting to hold people to facts and truth and truthful information. And now you can anybody can edit it and it's just a hot mess. But we start here because it will lead you other places that you need to go. I didn't know that he was what his background was. I just knew that his whole image is off, okay? Now, why do we need to be concerned? He is the bishop of Christ the Good Shepherd Church. Number one, he founded that church. He made himself the bishop of that church. He has no one to answer to. That is a very dangerous situation for a person of quote-unquote authority or power over another individual, like a husband over a wife, a parent over a child, a teacher over a child, a priest over an altar boy. When there is no checks and balances, when there is no hierarchy to answer to, That is a dangerous recipe for disaster. This man has no one to answer to. He is not of any ordination any longer. He was suspended after he was made a bishop twice. He was suspended, recanted, and then he was suspended again. So I'm going to go through this because, I don't want to spend forever on this. The dates are interesting, too, that he received his ordination August 11th, 2011. We know 2012 things started. That was the first time things went sideways. Then they went a little more in like 2017. It's like it started every 20 years, and then it went down to like every 12 years, and then it went down to every 6 years, and now every 3 years things are just like popping off. And somebody can look into the numbers or gematria of that. I just noticed that pattern in things. Okay, so he is from Iraq. Now, something else I need to mention about YouTube in general. Most of you, if you think back, most of the channels that you watch or that I watch, for example, RFB, Richie from Boston, first started talking about the chemtrails. First guy. We know. CERN, all that stuff. Mr. Ballin, that guy, he's newer, trendier. Odin's Men, he's another one. All of these guys readily admit that they were or are in the military. Now, I hate to say it, but America fell a long time ago because our military apparently sold us out because they are campaigning propaganda against the American people. And all of this is to, I believe, create a holy war. Now, again, this is free speech. I am allowed to use my free speech. Other people are inciting violence. I'm telling people not to participate in violence. I'm telling you, don't be baited because that's what they're wanting you to do. They're wanting you to be in fear. They're wanting you to be confused. They're wanting you to be off balance. And I don't really care who they are at this point. I'm just, I don't specifically go after people unless I think that they are being dangerous. This caricature, and make no mistake, he is a caricature, is dangerous, just like Tate is dangerous. They are speaking and basically inciting violence. Now, there's one more quick thing I wanted to look at as well when we're talking about actors, is if we look at his quote-unquote attacker, he looks like somebody else in the media these days. And somebody also have to answer because I don't watch the media and I do have comments off, but they will be turned back on. This cat. Who's the guy that was arrested for all of the hedge funding or whatever recently? I forget his name. He's like Shapiro. He's another one of them young, arrogant yokels. I don't even know. He's just an arrogant, conceited guy. They're not going to show his face. There's a video of him laughing and on the ground. Now, I want you to remember something. Again, I said I've seen actual people get shot on Facebook Live, and they didn't censor it out. It went on for like days at a time sometimes, and they did not censor it out. This was censored immediately. Nobody saw the actual live attack, which, number one, indicates it's not actually live. And please, let's not mistake that. There are ways that you can put that little moniker up there and say that something's live and it not be live. Just go back and watch all the Kanika Jenkins videos from Facebook Live. Those were not live. There ain't no way those were live. But I digress. These were not live. And then they were instantly censored. That also makes it look all the more phony. Honestly, I've seen better acts on WWE. Now, again, I've prayed for this person. If I am wrong, I apologize, but I don't think I am. I mean, it's as bad as Elon's car going into space. Like, I just don't know. I don't know, man. Maybe there's stuff in the food that makes us spiritually blind. I just don't know, because I eat less these days, and I put less things in my body, and I take less medication, and so I'm not a smart person. I'm not. Like, I never was. Like I can remember things. I have a good memory, but like I'm not smart. And anyway, whoever that guy is who's in the news, was in the news the last few years, I think he just got sentenced. Now, that's another thing to mention. When these people get arrested, like Tate, like Greta Van Susteren, There are, and we're going to look at this too, there are prisons that are privately owned. So let's say you needed to get somewhere where you had a place where you could speak privately with people, where you knew there was no bugs, right? No cameras watching, nobody listening, and it was basically soundproof. And you needed a few days to have a powwow with a bunch of people, say, that are in a secret organization, and that you can't actually connect. We can't make any connections, right? There has to be plausible deniability. Where do you go for this meeting? You don't go to a high-class hotel. You don't go to a dive. None of it's in your control. Where could you go? A prison. All the doors lock. It's not just to keep people in, it's to keep people out, man. Just like a wall. It's not just to keep people out, it's to keep people in. They're having these meetings and these indoctrination sessions. They're basically initiating people, turning them out, and having their meetings in prisons. That's why you saw Tate get arrested and all that go down. Now his face is everywhere, right? They have to have something. They have to be publicly persecuted because the world loves a villain, right? That's why that's why in the history books, people like Christ go down as bad or whatever, because or I mean at the time, that's why people hate him, is because he was so good, right? So again, you have this light and dark playing. There is real persecution happening, absolutely. There are real attacks happening, absolutely. And I think, again, I have proof for something else. So just hang out with me for a few more minutes and I will get through it, I promise. But a lot of the videos I've made, if you've not watched many of them, a lot of them are coming to fruition. So this has been a very humbling experience for me. I've been trying to be more quiet recently, and just being in the moment and being grateful and thankful for the good memories that I do have in my life, the good times that I did have, and the people that I did know. Yeah. Anyways, it's not about me. So let's get on with it. Okay, so you can read about his life, but he was suspended, and then he was suspended again. All right. He ordered him to make changes in regard to a range of different areas, such as the liturgical, theological, and his social conduct. It expired, and so he was suspended in July of 2014 on the grounds of disobeying canons promulgated by the First Council of Nicaea in AD 325. It was briefly withdrawn in December, and he declared his acceptance, but he expressed them again a second time, and so he was booted a second time. So then he was made a bishop for the Archdiocese of Australia and New Zealand, assisting the Metropolitan of Australia and New Zealand, previously known as Emmanuel Schleiman. He adopted the Episcopal. So this is his background. Like, this is so messy. It's so messy. We've got ties to Iraq. We've got ties to Australia, which, again, Australia is, at least by the videos we're seeing, is going way communism really fast too. That's just my opinion. It's all communistic. They can call it socialism all they want, but I took marketing classes. I know what branding is, and all they did was rebrand communism, and they're calling it socialism, and they're just slapping that sticker label on it, and bada bing, bada boom, you've got a whole new generation of people indoctrinated, especially with handy little tools like the internet and social media. I'm sure they'll shut me down if God lets them, but it's not happened yet. So even if I'm only speaking to 2 people, I'm still going to keep speaking because I fell and I should not have, and I would have a bigger platform now, but if I hadn't fallen, I don't think I'd be saved either. So, yeah. Anyways, here's all his controversies. Now, he's speaking all the right things, right, in public. The problem is that all these people are on TV and they're telling us to get mad. Christians, be angry. Christians, why aren't you more angry? Muslims, stand up for your faith. Why aren't you standing up for your faith and your women? Notice one thing though. They're all talking the loudest, but they're not doing anything either. Are they? They're making rounds on talk shows. Do not be fooled, friends. Brothers, sisters, friends, amigos, amis, do not be fooled by this stuff. They want to promulgate another civil war. I don't think they care how it happens. Holy War, Civil War, they don't care. They just want it to be completely decimated. For whatever reason, it has to be our choice, because they're not going to get us to go along with it, right? If they have to force us, they want us to be compliant and think it's our own idea that we ask for more restrictions and more safety measures, and on it goes. And I said years ago as well that they're going to outlaw cars. Like, I just see it happening. It's coming too. They're going to end up making cars, what is the word I'm looking for? They're weaponizing them, right? So it's just going to be for essential travelers, probably military. Some type of AI will probably take over if possible. But that's why you're seeing a lot of the electric bikes. I'm not saying if I'm agreeing or disagreeing that some of these things, I'm not saying some of them aren't good. I'm not saying that either. You know, sometimes, I don't think that good can happen from a lie. Sometimes, right? Like if you're saving somebody's feelings, a lie of omission, possibly. But if you want to affect positive change, you can't do that with a lie, because it's only temporary then. People need something to hope for and work towards, and it needs to be something honest. They have to have something to believe in, or they have nothing worth fighting for, nothing worth dying for. And again, all these people who are engineering our society and engineering all these social games and Hunger Games, like, they know what they're doing, right? They know what they're doing. I can't tell them anything. So what is Nestorianism? This is where Mari Emanuel came from. Refers to several mutually related but doctrinally distinct set of teachings. The first meaning of the term is related to the original teachings of Christian theologian Nestorius, who promoted specific doctrines in the fields of Christology and Mariology. The second meaning of the term is much wider and relates to a set of later theological teachings that were traditionally labeled as Nestorian, but differ from the teaching of Nestorius in origin, scope, and terminology. So origin, no big deal. Terminology, again, it's just semantics. You can have 20 different words for apple, but it's still an apple. And scope, does that matter? I mean, yes and no. That's framework, basically, your scope of vision, scope of practice. The doctrine of Nestorius, Patriarch of Constantinople, appointed in 428, by which Christ is asserted to have had distinct human and divine persons. Original Nestorianism is attested primarily by works of Nestorius. Oh my gosh, can we just get to it? I don't care. I want to know. Mariology rejects the title Theotokos, God bearer for Mary. Oh, that's heresy. So he's definitely not a Catholic, right? And if you believe Christ is the Messiah, that he is God in the flesh, then I don't know, like, would Protestants even be taken in by that? I don't know, man. I don't know. And again, I've seen so many comments on YouTube and stuff, and somebody said, know your religion. You need to know it, because you're going to be fooled by all this. You're going to be misled. And this is how you're going to be misled, is not knowing who someone truly is and not knowing proper doctrine. And this is why there are so many versions of Christianity today, is so that the flock gets lost and never finds the true source of the living waters. Why do you think they crack on the Catholic Church so much? But they know we caught on, right? So now they're faking out their own persecutions of people like Tate, of this Mahi guy. And it takes a real arrogant person to, like, rename themselves. I mean, you have to in Catholic theology too for your confirmation. So I don't know. It's just, his theology was influenced by the teacher. Okay, so we got that, and we know that. And theosis means union with God. We're all supposed to strive for that. We're all supposed to strive to have, like, our souls be perfected. Okay, so Nestorian Mariology rejects the title Theotokos for Mary, thus emphasizing distinction between divine and human aspects of incarnation. See, that's real close to Muslim too. So I do believe the Antichrist is going to be pushing ecumenicism. Did I say it right that time? I'm still learning like my Christian doctrine again, or at least the adult version of it. No. Okay, so what was the other thing? Nestorian Christology promotes the concept of a prosopic union of two persons, divine and human, in Christ, thus trying to avoid and replace the concept of a hypostatic union of two natures. Wait. Two persons, divine and human. Okay, so they're saying it's two completely separate things, whereas we believe that Christ, the Father, and the Holy Spirit are three persons, same God. So yeah, I mean, again, if you don't understand this stuff, it definitely gets muddy. But this is how they're going to fool you: is they don't have to take any type of oath, they don't have to believe. God, whether people admit it or not, is where your moral compass comes from. And if you shut down your conscience, you're shutting down your connection to God, your internal Jiminy Cricket, JC, Jesus Christ. Give a little whistle and always let your conscience be your guide. So my thing, especially at this point, is I don't trust people who don't believe in God. Like, not at all. And then people who say they believe, are you lying to me with your lips and doing something else with your hands? I don't know. Because at this time it is dangerous, not just for our bodies, for our souls, for our spirits. You don't want to be taken in because it's so easy to get off track and to start slipping and sliding. It's about more than being a good person. It's about recognizing that we're not good people and that we've all done bad things and we've all hurt people and we've all hurt ourselves here. And it humbles you, but because of that, you look and you say, man, I do really need someone ordering my life for me. Maybe my heavenly parentals could do that for me. I don't know. I do mean to preach. I don't, but I do, I guess. So Nestorius, what did he do? Defined as radical Diphocidism, reaffirmed at the Council of Chalcedon, Chaldean. No, it's not the same thing, is it? Such teachings brought Nestorius into conflict with other prominent church leaders, most notably Cyril of Alexandria, who issued 12 anathemas against him. Oh my gosh. Nestorius and his teachings were eventually condemned as heretical. At the Council of Ephesus, which is the church council, and see how you see that? There was only one church in the beginning. His teachings were considered as heretical not only in Chalcedonian Christianity, but even more in Oriental Orthodoxy. Now, see, and here's the thing. People can say they hate Christ all they want. They can say we don't need God all they want. But please tell me that this world has gotten better, because it is not. It is not. And people are confused and they're hurting and we're broken. And, I to be such a hippie, but, we need some kumbaya and peaceful, harmonious moments. And I know people crack on me for being that way, but so be it. After the condemnation, some supporters of Nestorius, who were followers of... okay, these words are tripping me up. Let me get to the meat here. Divine and human within one person. Such views were officially adopted by the Church of the East at a council. Opponents of such views labeled them as Nestorian, thus creating the practice of misnaming the Church of the East as Nestorian. Okay, so now they're saying, as we've come closer into time now, oh, it's not what it used to be. It doesn't mean what it used to mean. Again, semantics. You need to know where these sources are coming from. But basically, I'm telling you, dude's an actor. They say he predicted his own attack. Man, again, you're not going to see the real saints. You're not going to see the real prophets. You're not going to see the real ones on television unless something really radical happens and it is truly divine and of God. They're not going to be making rounds on talk shows. Like, that's just not... Godly people don't do that. Godly people don't do that. All right? Now, you'll see certain priests, they record and they stream now to reach more people. I get that. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about celebrity. Celebrities, it's sad, make better evangelists for Christ than Catholic priests who want to be celebrities. And that's just the truth. All right, so where do I go with this? Where am I going with this? I'm sorry. I'm disappointed in so much right now. So, little proof that I was talking about. Thousands of people removed from Social Security. Again, they are talking to each other, especially when they put out numbers about money and people who died in tragedies. They are the elites, the ones who, the demonics, the elite, the fallen principalities, the dark ones, the rulers of this place, are not, technically we're the rulers of this place, but we've kind of like defaulted it to everybody and anybody else. Get out of here. Okay. So thousands of people removed from Social Security. I told you this was coming as well. I said TIs were targeted by their families for a variety of reasons. If they're not getting any more, we are resources, right? And if we are not working, if we are not procreating, if we are not consuming, then we are not a resource and we go in the chucker. They recycle plastic. They don't recycle, well, they kind of do recycle people, but I'll get into that at another time. I said this was coming. I said this is what was going on, that they were going to target the elderly, the infirm. And what did they do? It started at the nursing homes. Now they've moved on from nursing homes and they're just going straight people on Social Security and disability. Do you know where your family's at? Do you know where your friends are? Are you one of them who sold them out? What kind of a life are you going to have if you live it knowing that you did these things? Thousands of people removed from Social Security. And it's funny because they don't even try to give an answer. And that's how you know they didn't have to tell us any of this. They're talking to each other, okay? Watch. The number of people who receive federal payments from Social Security Administration declined by about 13,500, data from the agency showed. And this, I think, was just in a month. In March, there were 7.27 compared to 7.28 the prior month. So that's just in a month. Those recipients who qualify based on age were close to 1.15 million. Last month, slightly more than in February when the group totaled. Okay, don't get caught up in the economists either and people like Pockets of the Future. We can't afford this debt. We can't afford this debt. Number one, it's money. They can wipe out whatever they want. They don't care about money. We trade resources all the time. We have trade agreements with other nations. Like, why is money even a thing? It's really not. It's not about the money. It never has been. Money only has value because we give it value. We assign it value. And I'm guaranteeing you right now, if you're working for money, money is your God. You say, well, I got to feed my kids. No, you're going to work for the money. Learn how to farm. Be home with your kids. Learn how to grow your food. Be home with your kids. Go without the extra car, the extra phone. Be home with your children more. I'm talking from experience. I've been there. I've done it. Well, it's easy for you to say. No, it's not easy for me to say at all. I'm saying this after the fact. I'm trying to encourage other people to learn from my cautionary tale. Don't do what I did. But for some reason, God started talking to me. Out of all the people he could have talked to, he started talking to people like me, lowly people. We're all over YouTube. I've went to so many channels at this point, I can't even, and I've commented and left prayers and prayed with people. We're everywhere. But people love celebrity and people love their idols. And again, it's not about popularity. It's not about any of that. It's about coming together as a tribe, smaller tribes. Breaking away from this system of wickedness. We all know it's evil. We all know it's wicked. Well, I don't know. You just got to do it. It's not going to be fun. We just have to do it one day. And I don't know how either. I'm reaching out to you guys. What do we do? Those recipients who qualify based on age were close to da-da-da. So basically they're telling you that, and also under 18 recipients as well. Children are vulnerable. They are a vulnerable, and they're not useful. And this current thing that they've gotten, unless you're the child of an elite or whatever, a well-to-doer, children are not necessary. Okay, and you're starting to see that. Watch, they're going to be banned from restaurants. I'm not even kidding. They will ban small children, probably 5 and under, from restaurants. I see it coming. Like it's been coming for years now. And it's just, it is what it is. It was unclear what drove the decline. How long have we been telling you that there's a purge on? Now, death ain't permanent. It's not a permanent state, man. It's not. I've had a couple NDEs, and it changes you completely, as it should. Okay, so what was the other thing I wanted to show you next to that? Oh, interesting people notes. Here on the 19th, it says he formally confirms he's a U.S. resident, but I just saw another link saying that his... Sammy! Saying that his visa expired too. So, again, we're getting a lot of news out, and it's very hard to tell what is the truth. I'm going to come back to this one, because this is kind of like we're doing a people and a places current event thing, and I might end it with that person and then do a whole video on that topic because it needs to be talked about. This happened. So there was a ban, and now they are challenging the ban on the ban on the ban. So this is Ohio. Why am I showing you this? This is what I do every day now. Check it out. Didn't I tell you to watch out for Illinois being an area that another earthquake would hit? So have you been watching? Anybody been watching? I said that, 2 weeks ago during the eclipse on the 8th. I said it. So let's do this. I'll just do it to show you because I know it's here. 3 days ago, Illinois earthquake, 2.3 magnitude earthquake reported in southern Illinois. Okay, expert says small earthquakes in southern Illinois are common. I don't know, are they? You guys tell me. These parts of Illinois are at the highest risk of an earthquake 2 weeks ago. I guarantee you that 2 weeks ago, that's when I was talking about it. What day did this come out? I'm actually curious now. Go see if I put out a video on April 5th. It probably is it. I'm not tooting my own horn. It's very overwhelming at this point for me. That's why I don't do a lot of videos right now. Okay, so we've got Illinois. Where else had one? We're all in the path of the eclipse, sort of. What else do we have in common? Well, we have some pretty crummy laws regarding children at this point in time. Illinois, Carbondale, Illinois. I told you to watch that area. And Ohio doesn't have any type of ban on sacrificing baby martyred saints. So yeah, there's no ban in Ohio on that. There is in a lot of other states right now, but Ohio is not one of them. And everybody's traveling to Illinois as well to have that done. So I would say these are our warnings. So there's one in Northeast Ohio. Then we have another one in Michigan yesterday. Another one in Illinois 3 or 4 days ago. And Taiwan is like going to break off into the ocean, it would appear. Now, is all this stuff true in the media? I don't know. Is my phone gaslighting me? Is it stalking me? Is it AI just saying this because it knows I said it and it wants to scare me? Well, I'm not scared, so I hope that wasn't the ad or the issue. But if you see, you type in something and it will show you all the most recent headlines on that topic, okay? Now I want to show you what's going on with Taiwan. Now, they won't list it on here unless it's like a 2.5. So the one in Illinois and the one in Ohio you won't see on here. I just wanted to let you know. Wow, that's new. Portugal. Puerto Rico. Okay, we got a little stuff going on there. We always do. Mid-Atlantic Ridge. Would that be near, what did I call it? Oh my gosh. The fault in the ocean. Guys, I'm sorry. I have so much information in my head right now. Mariana Trench. Is the Mid-Atlantic Ridge near the Mariana Trench? Because that's been going off like crazy. It's 6.6 kilometers down, and it was a 5.0. Now, if you keep going, you'll see that there are some places that are just getting rocked, like, constantly. Indonesia, Taiwan is just getting... I don't know what's going on with Taiwan. It's just boom, 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 boom. Those are all different ones. Okay? And if you click on it, just to show you... It'll, like, you click on this, then you click on this, and it'll show you the little map It'll show you if it was in a populated area. They all have classifications. And it tells you right here, it'll say review status. It says reviewed. So it means it was reviewed by a quote-unquote scientist, a geologist already. Okay? Just to show you if you want to get into that at all. Taiwan is getting just lit up, man. I don't know what's going on over there. Do they have any crazy laws right now? What is happening there? And this was just yesterday. 6.0, 6.1. So a lot of the things that have been talked about on the original channel and this channel are now starting to occur. So there's that. I just want to show you this real quick. And remember, this guy's an actor too, so he started out, if I can find the picture, and he's still like, I don't know what's wrong with his voice. I don't know where he's from that he talks like that. I don't know, maybe he's got a speech impediment. I just don't know. I don't know, boxers are that way though. Like fighters, they're not very, no offense, guy, they're not very bright. And remember, they're actors. They're here to sell you a lifestyle, okay? Most actors, for whatever reason, aren't even always hitting for their home team. So he started out very little as a very skinny, look at the hands, Masonic. Like, my dad used to sleep like that, is what's weird. And again, so I'm not saying, you can't say the whole group or everyone from this group or that group. I don't try to do that, and I don't try to pinpoint people like this. But there's something not right with these characters, man. They're just characters, and they are pushing and promulgating. It has nothing to do with jealousy. Like, if he's really this successful, good for him. If he is really this happy and pleased with his life and his decisions, good for him. I don't care for him. I think he's smarmy. I think most of the people on television are. That is just me. I don't trust most people these days. In these times, we're not living in times that are normal. I wanted to be able to pull his picture up next to the Mari Emmanuel. Alright, so can I get a picture of him with just his face and the stupid glasses off? That whole trend with like wearing glasses inside, it just makes you look weird, guys. Okay, you see his nose? See the nose? See the eyebrow? See the kind of lips there? See the coloring even? And the hands. Now his hands are obviously not the same as Mari's, but they look enough alike to literally be like uncles. Right there. See the nose? I mean, it legit could be him with like a filter, but he looks pretty real there. And I swear he looks like he looks very familiar, and I don't know where I'll think of it eventually. You guys know I will. Okay, so we had that going on, and so there's a ban on the ban. Now, what is my point with that? Well, these are the issues that you want to watch in accordance with what's going on right now with earthquakes. Our homeless are also our most vulnerable. And whatever way this goes, again, I told you guys, God told me, and I brought it to everybody else, that this, if we go, please don't boot me off of here, everything's shared per the Fair Use Act. Check this out. Let's check out how many big YouTubers are doing videos right now about homeless people. Wow, there's one coming up. Now there's a regular person, right? We want to see some of the YouTubers, though, that do this. I know Tyler Ferreira. I watched one of his videos. There are a lot of them. Let's go down away from... There we go. $83,000 saw that video. $27,000 for that cleanup. It's a pretty hot topic now. Let's get rid of this guy I don't like right there. That dude, I've watched his channel, and again, they're exploiting the homeless and using them to push this agenda into the public arena. And just like the one with the toxins that went in the arms, this is a no-win situation if we are to vote on it, if us the people were to vote on it. Because if you say that the governors can do as they please from city to city, eventually everybody will criminalize it. Like, it's going to happen either way. If you allow one person control over that, then that's giving too much power to that one person and kind of negating the whole reason you have governors to begin with. So I see the reason for the debate. The problem with a lot of this, and let's be clear here. How many people do you know? Let's see. Van lifing is a pretty big thing, no? Right? Didn't I tell you guys why are they talking about stealth camping so much? Didn't I tell you guys that I thought they were out there purging the homeless and getting rid of them, so to speak, and now they've kicked this issue down the road for another 6 months? So once it's down to a manageable number, once the purge is over with, and once these people, the van lifers, are done making the problem look bigger than it actually is, because that's what they're doing, and most of them are ex-military, so they know very well how to live on the streets and how to live with the bare minimum essentials. Okay? Can we all wake up soon? They're going to start coming for people, door to door. You don't have to believe me. It's not about me promoting fear. It has nothing to do with fear at all. It has to do with hedging off some of this at the pass. Now, this is another thing. Why is this such a big topic right now? I told you why. 3 years ago, 1 year ago, all since 2017, right? Oh, there's that double peace sign, right? It's supposed to be a peace sign. No, it's not. No, it's not. So look at how many videos, and just do a search. Go see how many big YouTubers are talking about insane asylums and homeless people right now. Same exact videos, just different hosts, different actors. All of these people that trend, all of these people that have giant channels have agents, talent agents, managers, sponsors. When you have a sponsor, they tell you what you can say or you don't get paid. That's the danger in money. And what was the other issue? Oh. No. Empty. This came real big with Dan Bell. Again, everything that my husband used to watch is like a big thing now, guys. I'm telling you, I'm like right in the middle of all this crap. Okay, so how many dead mall videos do you got? Literally thousands of channels about this one topic. People going to empty malls and talking about dead malls. Why do you suppose, what do you suppose they could do with all these if they wanted to repurpose them? Say if the old insane asylums are too old and broke down? Well, you just throw them in a mall and lock the doors, right? I had dreams. When I told you guys, I've told you guys about my dreams a few times, and I don't know if I have energy to go over each specific dream over several different videos. They're in my testimony here and there. A couple of them are in the featured videos, but when all this started happening, I thought I was having dreams. After it happened, I thought it was about 9/11 because I was always in a mall, but it was like the basement of a mall in a parking area, and it was always dusty and dirty, and it was always like closed down, and it's one of those dreams that have repeated, much like the floods in the cities on the East Coast and the earthquakes on the East Coast. I am always dreaming about empty malls and like surviving in them. And I told you about the dream that I had about sick and ill people being in the arenas. Now, people that are interesting right now are this one. Everywhere you see her. She did her first ever performance with Stevie Nicks. Stevie Nicks is allegedly a very big person in into Wicca, witchcraft. Was she passing down some type of I don't know. I don't know, but I know that she's being mentioned everywhere. Then you had her name mentioned with earthquakes. Then she's at that big football game. When last I knew, the games were kind of shut down. My sons went to a few concerts. They've been pretty empty. The pictures they've shown me of them being in the cities. So there's a whole lot of deception happening. And remember, they have cities in China allegedly that look like American cities. And for what purpose, nobody knows. Why am I mentioning her? Well, because again, she looks a lot like her. That is his daughter. That's Anton LaVey's daughter. Okay? Zena LaVey. She looks a whole lot like her. Same family, same bloodline, same individual. I don't know, man. I'm just presenting you with the information. So that's who he looks like. That right there is who Tate looks like. LaVey. The nose, same type of nose, same dome shape. Oh, nice devil horns. Lovely. Yeah, that's who he looks like. Oddly enough, he has a son. Excuse me. Whew. Nothing like a coffin fit. Hold on, please. Wow. Okay, well, if you don't believe they come after you for talking about them, there's your proof right there. So yeah, we have a lot of people playing multiple roles, and it's worth noting he has a son who lives in Las Vegas. I have never been able to pull up a picture of him. I don't know what he looks like. Is this his daughter now, today? Maybe that's them. Oh no, that's his partner. So no. He has a son anyway that lives in Vegas, and I always told you that if they were going to mock Jesus and they were going to take his holy city, which is 2 words, both with capitals, and if I go along with the lines of, I believe Joshua's tree is Yeshua's tree, Joshua being the English name for Yeshua, Joshua, Yahshua, Jesus being Latin, then it's very possible the real Israel is America. That's why we've not been attacked physically in a long time. And the end of days, it says it will happen to the true Israel nation. Now, again, Israel is also a tribe of people. It's not just a place. So let's always remember that as well. But I think there's a big game on and a big deception on for who is who, what is what, and where is where. People, places, and things. Okay, so the last thing. And yeah, I'm going to go say a rosary after this because I'm sure the attacks are going to come. Remember how I said that I kept getting gaslighted by people from Arkansas? Remember how I said one of the people who watched the channel who always stalked me wouldn't take no for an answer? Like, when you tell somebody to leave you alone, you don't have to give them a reason why. You just say, leave me alone. Even if you're being childish, leave me alone. I want left alone. They should respect that. And this person would not listen. And I couldn't figure out, plus Sun, Moon, and Water, Evie, gal that I had no problem with, but for whatever reason has a big problem with me. They're all from Arkansas, allegedly. That's where they say they're from. Gaslit by a guy at the local Mexican restaurant who was also a member of the Rainbow Hijackers. And there's a very specific reason that follows this type of behavior. So this is big. And I told you, I mentioned his name several times over my testimony because my spouse, who was never really that into celebrity or didn't express it to me, I said something negative about Johnny Depp. Like, once I came to the truth and I learned that, like, mescaline was a real thing, and that movie he did, Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, like how adrenochroma is a real thing and where they get that, he fell, like, completely off my radar. I won't watch anything with him in it. I won't promote him in any way, shape, or form. And people love him. I know this. People love him. Oh, well, he got really, raked against the coals by that woman. Everything is the opposite. They're showing you in the media. There, even people with, like, Candace Owen, they're saying, oh, women are strong. We've never had to. Malarkey, man. Malarkey. I had a good life. I was working. I was doing what I was allegedly supposed to do. And then in 2017, 2018, everything falls apart. It's not just me. It's women all over are being abused, persecuted, left, forced into homelessness, being given impossible decisions. Do you stay with your children and remain to be abused, or do you leave and go on the streets? It's happening everywhere. Just because it's not happening to you doesn't mean it's not happening. This guy's huge. And I didn't know this, he also lives, I guess, I didn't know you could live in a national park. Dude lives, I guess, in Joshua Tree Park or something. Again, another strange coincidence. I'm not going to talk about guilt or innocence here. He was obviously gotten out, but he has some strange ties to that Depp caricature. And they call it satanic panic, but again, man, they want to gaslight you. They want you to seem foolish. They want you to seem crazy. And they don't care what people really believe specifically. They care about what goes down in history, like what gets wrote down, right? They don't care that I can see what I can see. They can torment me all the more because they know I can see it. And they know that I'm getting their little messages. But this is a thing, because in 2011, that was also when he was released. Why the other two weren't released, I don't understand. Of course, you have the one who is the most meek and mild-mannered of the three is still in there, I believe. I forget his last name. But anyways, he put forth a petition for DNA testing. He wants his innocence proven, right? There is a difference between innocent, not guilty, and guilty, right? There's a few, and no contest, right? But this is a big thing. It's a big thing for DNA, and people say, oh, DNA doesn't lie. No, but people do. People lie every day. And it's discouraging that so many people believe so many lies. So this is kind of what I've been doing, just to check in on the headlines and to see what's going on all over, in my area and other areas. Pink Moon is coming up. I had no idea we were going to have one of those. I shared the song not too long ago. It's a great song. I wanted to do a video on this person too. In case you were unaware, and I might do a short on it. In case you were unaware, the NBA and the WNBA, big Masons. They are big Masonic magicians. Like, that's what they are. And they are big people, literally. I don't know how else to say it. I went to see the Harlem Globetrotters as a kid. If you don't know who they are, Google them. Magic Johnson, they call him that for a reason, right? There is a reason they are interested in these specific scores. There is a reason this girl doesn't really look like... I mean, I don't know. Is she a trans athlete? Is she a trans athlete? I don't know. I just don't know. She kind of looks like it, but look at the number, 22. And guess who else she looks like? My neighbor who lives at that house. 222. I told you that was the alleged AC's house number. Looks like the same face. Somebody still messing with us using AI? Man, I don't know. I don't know, but I'm just presenting the information. WNBA 22 is a big thing right now. You should type it in and see how many headlines you can pull up, but we've already talked about that, so I don't want to keep going there. And I think that was it for people and places. Oh, I also saw a few things Forbes was putting out with Trump being in New York. They would never show his face. They were just showing him from behind. I'm telling you guys, I don't know how long New York and LA have been shut down, but it's been a minute now. Nothing is what it seems. And it's past time to start paying attention to things that are important. I would watch what goes on with that Supreme Court thing because Sodom and Gomorrah, it was for their, how shall I say this? It was for their sensual proclivities. The reason they got chastised and, well, they were destroyed, basically. And it was for their lack of charity. It was because they literally had homeless people laying in the streets while they had the elites eating in rooms, and they actually had rooms that were called vomit rooms, and they would go vomit and then go eat some more because that's what you did back then. And the bigger you were, the more money you had. Starting to sound familiar to current times a little bit. Stay blessed. I love you guys. Please pray for me as I pray for you. Thank you for being here. And maybe we'll talk soon. Bye.